Continuation for the last video, because there is a limit for the cell phone video. 11th problem is which property of a system is intensive property? Options are mass. As we know, mass is coming under extensive property. Come to the volume, also extensive property. Energy, also extensive property. Mass, volume, energy, these three are extensive properties. But you are asked to decide intensive property. You know, pressure is one intensive property. Temperature is another intensive property. Temperature and pressure both are basic intensive properties. So among the given options, option B is giving an intensive property. Now come to the 12th problem. For an ideal gas, the internal energy is the function of, remember, according to Joule's law, internal energy U is the function of only temperature for an ideal gas. Internal energy is the function of only temperature means for an ideal gas, internal energy depending on only temperature. It means if the temperature is increasing, internal energy increases, or if the temperature is decreasing, along with the temperature, internal energy decreases. Whereas for real gas, internal energy U is not only function of temperature but also volume and pressure. This is for real gas. That means the internal energy of the real gas is depending on temperature, volume and pressure. Temperature, volume and pressure. Whereas for ideal gas, internal energy is depending on only temperature. Now come to our problem. For an ideal gas, the internal energy is the function of temperature only. Temperature only. Option D is correct. Now come to the next problem, that is 12th problem. 12th problem completed. 13th problem. Look at the 13th problem. An example of a closed system. As we know, the closed system is one in which mass is not crossing the boundary of the system. Only energy is crossing the boundary of the system. Only energy is crossing the boundary of the system. Now look at the options. The exhaust stroke of an IC engine. IC engine means the engine connected to your bike is the IC engine. For the IC engine, petrol is entering and exhaust gas are leaving. Petrol entering, gas is leaving means mass is crossing the boundary of the system. The engine is coming under open system. This is not correct. Come to the universe. Universe is coming under isolated system, because for the universe, the mass interaction is 0, energy interaction is 0. The universe is coming under isolated system. Steam generator. Steam generator means steam boiler. For the boiler, we are supplying the water. That water is becoming steam. That means water is crossing the boundary of the system. Steam is also coming out from the boiler. Therefore, mass is crossing the boundary of the boiler. Therefore, steam generator is coming under open system. Come to the bomb calorimeter. Remember, this bomb calorimeter is used for finding the calorific value of solid and liquid fuels. That bomb calorimeter is coming under a closed system. The bomb calorimeter, transformer, battery, thermometer, refrigerator, thermoelectric power plant, closed cycle gas turbine power plant, moon, these are all coming under closed systems. So once again, bomb calorimeter is coming under a closed system and it is generally used for finding the calorific value of both solid and liquid fuels. So among the given options, bomb calorimeter is coming under a closed system. Now come to the 14th problem. 14th problem. Which of the following will be considered as a closed system rather than control volume? Control volume means open system. Remember, closed system is also called fixed mass system or control mass system. Open system other name is control volume system or fixed volume system. You are asked to decide the closed system. A pump, look at the pump. With respect to pump, water is entering, water is leaving. It's an open system. You are asked to decide the closed system. A tire connected to your bike definitely comes under a closed system, because the gas, unless there is no leakage of the gas from the tire is coming under a closed system. Similarly, pressure cooker also comes under closed system until that knob which is connected to pressure cooker is opening. But generally, once the water in the pressure cooker reaches to boiling point, because of the high pressure of the steam, that knob is opening. Generally, the pressure cooker is taken as open system for this particular case. But remember, until that knob connected to the pressure cooker is opening, the pressure cooker also comes under closed system. Anyhow, tire is closed system. Pressure cooker is also looking closed system, but most appropriate answer is A. Come to the jet nozzle. Jet nozzle means the like a kind of nozzle. For this nozzle, the material is entering to the system and leaving from the system. Therefore, nozzle is coming under open system. So, among the four options, though these two are looking closed system, the best appropriate answer is option A only. But believe me, pressure cooker also comes under closed system until the knob connected to the cooker is opening. Now come to the 15th problem. If a quasi-equilibrium process exists, we have assumed. Remember, quasi-static process is the reversible process. As we know, the reversible process is one, or the process is said to be reversible if it can be performed in the reverse direction exactly in the same manner as in the forward direction. It is like this. Let us take a rigid cylinder with piston mechanism. This space may be occupied by some gas. That place may be occupied by some gas. If I keep some sand on the top of the piston, SAND, sand on the top of the piston. If I ignore the self weight of the piston, as we know, the sand weight is acting vertically downwards. The gas pressure force inside the cylinder is acting vertically upwards on the piston. If the sand weight, which is acting vertically downwards, and gas pressure force acting vertical upwards, if these two are equal, the system is under thermodynamic equilibrium condition. But when I remove one sand particle, the downward weight decreases a little bit. Because of the decrease in little bit downward weight, the piston goes up a little bit. Along with the piston, the gas is expanding. By the time the gas is expanding, definitely properties are going to change. Before the sand particle is removing, let P be the pressure, V be the volume, T be the temperature of the gas. Once you remove the sand particle, definitely gas volume increases. Along with volume, the remaining two properties are also changing. Let the pressure is changing from P to P1, volume is changing from V to V1, temperature is changing from T to T1. Similarly, If I remove one more sand particle, again the downward weight decreases a little bit. Because of that, the piston is going up a little bit. Along with piston, gas is expanding. Once the gas is expanding, definitely properties are changing. Let the properties are changing from P1 to P2, V1 to V2, T1 to T2. Like that, the properties are keeping on changing. Once you replace the second sand particle, because of the increase in downward weight, piston is moving down a little bit. Once the piston is moving down a little bit, properties may be becoming properties may be changing from P2 to P1, V2 to V1, T2 to T1. Like that, once you replace all sand particles, this piston can get back to its original position. Then the gas can maintain its original properties like P be the pressure, V be the volume, T be the temperature. Such a process is called reversible process. Reversible process best example is quasi-static process. Remember, if I remove the sand particles one by one, the piston is slowly moving, then the process is coming under reversible process. But if I remove the total sand, all of a sudden, the piston is fastly moving. Once the piston is moving fastly, you cannot ignore the friction between the inner walls of the cylinder and piston. Once the frictional force is considered, no longer this process is coming under irreversible process. So from this, the moral is reversible process example is quasi-static process. Quasi means almost, static means equilibrium. Almost equilibrium process is a reversible process. Therefore, quasi-static process is the very slow process. Now come to our options. If a quasi-equilibrium process exists, we have assumed that pressure at any instant to be constant, need not be. Here pressure is changing from P2 to P1, P1 to P2 like that. It is an isothermal process, need not be. It is not correct. It is also not correct. The heat transfer to be small. We need not think about the heat transfer for this case. The boundary motion to be infinitesimally small. Infinitesimally small means very small. Therefore, the D is correct. So once again, quasi-equilibrium process is the example for reversible process. In quasi-equilibrium process, the boundary is moving at very slow speed. Therefore, option D is correct. Now come to the 16th problem. The absolute zero temperature corresponds to the condition when, as we know, absolute zero state is the state where the molecular motion is zero. Absolute zero state is the state where the molecular motion is zero. In the last video we have discussed. If I take the gas somewhere here, if I keep on cooling the gas, the volume is decreasing further and further at a particular state or at a particular temperature minus 273.15 degrees centigrade, the volume occupied by the gas due to free motion is zero. It doesn't mean that self volume is zero. Self volume is existing, but volume occupied by the gas due to free motion is zero. At that particular state, molecules present in the gas are unable to move from one location to another location. That state is called absolute zero state. At that absolute zero state, volume occupied by the gas due to free motion is zero, or kinetic energy of the gas is zero, or internal energy equal to zero, entropy also taken as zero. The temperature at this state is called absolute zero state. Corresponding pressure is called absolute zero pressure. The temperature at this state is absolute zero temperature. Corresponding pressure is absolute zero pressure. Now come to our problem. The absolute zero temperature corresponding to the condition, no pressure is exerted by the gas, volume of real gas reduced to zero, kinetic energy of the gas molecules becomes zero, all substances becomes zero. Among the given options, at absolute zero state means the state at which the molecular momentum is zero. There is no motion in the gas particles. It means kinetic energy is becoming zero at absolute zero state. That is the correct option. Come to the 17th problem. The specific heats of ideal gas depends on the specific heats of the ideal gas. You know, the Cp by Cv is equal to gamma. This is the 17th problem. Cp by Cv equal to gamma. Or another relation is Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Let me write the Cv outside. It is Cp by Cv minus 1 equal to R. Or Cv into Cp by Cv is gamma minus 1 equal to R. Cv equal to R by gamma minus 1. Again, this R equal to, as we know, R equal to Ru by M, universal gas constant by molecular weight. Then Cv equal to R. In the place of R, let us write this value, Ru by molecular weight into gamma minus 1. And Cp equal to gamma into Cv, it is equal to gamma into Ru into Cv value, this one is Cv value, by M into gamma minus 1. So Cv and Cp, look at the Cv and Cp. This is constant for any gas. Here M is molecular weight, gamma depends on the molecular structure, or gamma depends on the degree of freedom. Degree of freedom is depending on the molecular structure. From this, the Cv and Cp both are depending on the molecular structure and molecular weight. Come to our problem. The problem is asking like this. The specific heats of an ideal gas depends on temperature. No, specific heats remains constant irrespective of temperature and pressure for any ideal gas. So, specific heats are not depending on the temperature. It is not correct. Not depending on pressure. Not depending on the volume. It is depending on the molecular structure of the material. Now come to the next problem. 18th problem. 77 degrees centigrade. 77, it is a printing mistake. 77 degree Fahrenheit. 77 degree Fahrenheit is equal to, as we know, relation between degree centigrade and degree Fahrenheit is 1.8 degree centigrade equal to degree Fahrenheit minus 32. Here it is given 77 degree Fahrenheit. 77 degree Fahrenheit. It is equal to 77 minus 32. 77 minus 32 is 45. Then degree centigrade equal to 45 divided by 1.8. 45 divided by 1.8 maybe 25. Maybe 25 degree centigrade. So 77 degree Fahrenheit is equal to 25 degree centigrade. But it is asked in Kelvin. The absolute temperature equal to thermometer reading in degree centigrade plus 273. Thermometer reading is 25 degree centigrade plus 273 is equal to 298 Kelvin. That is how you can convert from first degree Fahrenheit to degree centigrade and from degree centigrade to absolute temperature. That is about the 18th problem.